As you become older, you'll see why keeping your peace is one of the most crucial things you can do. This video is for you if you've ever been worn out from helping others all the time, if you've ever wondered why some people never seem to appreciate your goodness, or if you've ever wondered if your generosity is being taken for granted. As we get older, we want to live in harmony with those who value and love us. However, we frequently end up stuck in relationships that deplete our mental, emotional, and even financial resources. We are terrified of disappointing people, feel bad about saying no, and perhaps aren't even aware that we are being taken advantage of. In actuality, not everyone is deserving of your assistance. You will feel empty and unappreciated after being taken advantage of by some individuals until you have nothing left. Consider this. Have you ever provided someone with constant assistance only to discover that they never genuinely appreciated it? Have you ever had the impression that certain people simply expect you to always be there for them, but they never do the same for you? What if I told you that severing ties with some people is not selfish but rather essential to your health? If you want to safeguard your pleasure and peace of mind in your later years, we shall discuss the 4 kinds of people you should never assist. These teachings are based on true stories, circumstances that many of us have encountered. You will know exactly how to leave toxic relationships and surround yourself with people who genuinely care at the end of this video. For more transformative insights, remember to like and subscribe to our channel and stay with me through to the very end. Helping someone who never shows gratitude for your assistance is the biggest letdown there is. You invest your time, effort, and even money in them in the hopes that they would appreciate your generosity. Instead, they behave as though your assistance is required of you, as though it were a responsibility rather than a choice. They will take and take, but they will never appreciate what you have done, and they will never give anything back. Consider this. David, a retired man, constantly provided financial support to his nephew James. Every month, James would call with a new issue, such as an urgent bill, a late rent payment, or a car that needed to be fixed. Being the generous person that he was, David never hesitated to send money. However, David eventually encountered his own financial difficulties. He eventually called James for assistance, but James didn't answer. No gratitude, no appreciation, nothing but quiet. When you assist others who don't value you, this is what occurs. To them, your generosity is a sign of weakness. They never pause to say thank you, assuming you would always be there. The issue is that continuing to assist these individuals depletes your resources, both financially and emotionally. You eventually experience feelings of exhaustion, emptiness, and even resentment. In your older years, you find yourself used and abandoned rather than surrounded by love and thankfulness. The reality is that you have no control over those who don't appreciate your generosity. Your peace of mind should be your first goal as you age. Spending your days with people who genuinely appreciate you, rather than those who only think of you when they are in need, is something you deserve. What is the answer then? Recognize the warning signs. You should quit interacting with someone if they never express gratitude, never offer to assist you in return, and only get in touch with you when they are in need. Assisting someone who lacks gratitude is like trying to fill a bucket with water. It will never be sufficient. Rather, concentrate your generosity on people who truly value and return your affection. You are not self-centered for preserving your tranquility. You're smart. You will be happier and more content the sooner you realize this. Some folks have an unseen burden, a painful past they'd rather not forget. They continually find a new excuse to be unhappy. Know of how hard you try to help them. These are the individuals who always play the victim. They expect you to save them all the time, refuse to accept responsibility, and place the blame for their mistakes on others. However, the reality is that they will never be sufficiently assisted. Consider Maria, a late 60s woman who had a companion named Linda as a child. Maria had provided Linda with emotional support for decades, always listening to her issues and giving guidance. Bad relationships, financial difficulties, and disputes with her family were all part of Linda's constant problems. However, Linda simply grumbled and kept repeating the same errors, rather than following Maria's advice and changing. Maria became aware that she always felt exhausted after speaking with Linda. Linda never made an effort to help her circumstances, no matter how much support she offered. All she wanted was for someone to feel bad for her. The issue with victim-playing individuals is that they seek sympathy rather than answers. Furthermore, you are not truly assisting them when you continue to do so. Rather, you are encouraging their actions. You are permitting them to continue their negative pattern. They pull you farther and deeper into their world of grievances, frustrations, and powerlessness the more you listen. And their pessimism eventually becomes yours. What can you do then? Establish limits. Being sympathetic doesn't have to mean taking on their emotional needs. Start observing rather than constantly giving suggestions. It's time to back off if they never do anything and don't want to make their lives better. Someone who refuses to save oneself cannot be saved. Your peace is too precious to be squandered on pointless whining. Your mental health should be your first priority as you age. Avoid folks who drag you into their never-ending storm and instead surround yourself with positive people. Life is too brief to be burdened by someone else's inability to develop. You'll feel lighter if you decide to keep your peace. Giving and receiving, supporting and receiving are all aspects of balance in life. However, some people just take. Without ever giving anything back, they take your time, your generosity, your energy, and occasionally even your money. These people disappear when you need them most, even though they want you to be there for them at all times. They will drain you without ever feeling bad if you let them remain in your life. Consider the case of James, a former educator who had a nephew named Chris. Chris was always supported by James, who helped him pay for college, gave him loans when he needed them, and even allowed him to live in his home after he lost his job. However, James discovered something unpleasant over time. Chris only got in touch with him when he needed something. No phone calls to see how he was doing. No visits to simply hang out. James became ill one day and required assistance. In an attempt to get help, he called Chris. Chris, meanwhile, was too busy. James came to the realization that Chris had only ever appreciated him as a resource and had never valued him as a person. Unless you stop giving, people who only take will never change. They feel no obligation to return the favor, yet they are at ease receiving assistance. They will continue to exploit you as long as you continue to support them. They expect more from you the more you provide. And when you do stop, they will be upset that their support system is no longer there, not appreciative of what you have done. How do you handle such individuals then? Acknowledge your value. You are not a limitless source of kindness. Someone does not deserve your assistance if they never return the favor, whether it be by effort, kindness, or gratitude. Being able to say no without feeling guilty requires strength. Mutual respect, not one-sided sacrifice, should be the foundation of a relationship. Your peace should be your top priority as you age. After a lifetime of serving others, it's time to be surrounded by people who respect and value you. Give to those who value it and avoid others who view you as nothing more than a chance. Their convenience is not as important as your well-being. Some people are always surrounded by negativity. They will always find a way to dull the light you bring into their lives. These are the folks who continuously remind you of the worst things in life, who never have anything positive to say, and who gripe about everything. Their negativity will penetrate into your soul if you're not careful, stealing your joy and substituting it with stress. Consider Martha, a 68-year-old woman who has Linda as a lifelong companion. Martha had a cheerful outlook on life and was always thankful for what she had. However, the discourse always descended into darkness when she met Linda. Linda found fault in everything, ridiculed her kids, and griped about her health. Linda would always brush off everything positive Martha offered, whether it was a family get-together or a straightforward happy experience, with the words, "That won't last," or "You're just lucky." This continued for years until Martha began to get nervous whenever Linda called. Someone else's suffering was overshadowing her own joy. In actuality, you cannot save those who refuse to be saved. Negativity is a choice for some people. No matter how much encouragement you give them, they will never perceive the positive aspects of life. It can be detrimental to your emotional health to be around such folks all the time. Before you know it, you begin to carry their negativity with you as their grievances become your load and their issues your concern. What therefore ought one to do? Keep your emotional distance. It is not your job to change someone else's perspective. It's acceptable to keep your distance from someone who consistently makes you unhappy when you see them. If necessary, you can limit interactions, establish boundaries, or even leave the situation entirely. Keeping your peace is not selfish, it is essential. Your time becomes more valuable as you age. Be in the company of people who make you feel alive, inspired, and uplifted. Pick happiness over negativity. Peace is preferable to needless tension, because every happy experience is worth preserving at this point in life. Some people use kindness as a technique to manipulate you, but their kindness is fake. They make you feel as though you owe them because they remind you of all the things they have done for you in the past. They say things like, "You're really going to turn your back on me after everything I've done for you?" Or, "You wouldn't have what you have now if it weren't for me." These statements are intended to keep you under their control, to make you feel bad, and to ensure that you always put them first, even if it means sacrificing your own tranquility. Think about the tale of Robert, a former educator. Years ago, while Robert was having financial difficulties, he received financial support from his cousin Paul. Paul, however, made sure he never forgot it. "I was there for you when you needed me," Robert would always hear when he declined to do something for Paul. "Are you simply going to disregard me now?" Robert continued giving money, time, and energy until he was exhausted as a result of this guilt. Years passed before he realized that Paul's kindness was out of control rather than motivated by love. There are no restrictions on genuine kindness. A genuine friend or family member lends a hand because they genuinely care, not because they anticipate payment. Someone never donated with a pure heart in the first place if they are constantly reminding you of what they did for you. Guilt-based relationships are unhealthy because they are an emotional control mechanism. How do you defend yourself then? Acknowledge guilt tripping as a manipulation tactic. Your happiness is not something you owe anyone. It's time to establish limits if someone is continuously using the past to dictate how you live your life. Refuse without feeling guilty. Give up elaborating. Without having to worry about what other people think, you have the right to make the choices that are best for you. Your well-being is more important at this point in your life than appeasing deceptive people. Put freedom ahead of guilt. Put peace before duty. You will never feel that you owe your happiness to those who genuinely care about you. The people we spend our lives with have a significant impact on our contentment and tranquility. We may have put up with toxic behaviors as children because we wanted to be nice, helpful, or stay out of trouble. However, at this point in our lives, safeguarding our health must come first. We have worked, sacrificed, and donated to others for decades. It's time to make decisions that respect our happiness, health, and peace. The truth is that not everyone is deserving of your assistance. There are those who steal and never return. Some people drain your vitality by always being negative. Others manipulate you by instilling guilt in you. Then there are people who only think of you when they are in need. These individuals detract from your life rather than adding to it. In the moment, helping someone might seem like the proper thing to do, but in the long run, it might leave you feeling worn out, undervalued, and even angry. Being used is not the definition of true kindness. It entails understanding when to say no, when to back off, and when to give your full attention to people who genuinely deserve it. Surrounding yourself with people who value, encourage, and uplift you is the best approach to preserve your tranquility. Thus, as you proceed, keep in mind that time is of the essence. Your vitality is precious. You don't have to save everyone, especially those who don't appreciate your generosity. You will never regret spending time and energy with the proper people. So pick your partners carefully.